SDK Manager is NVIDIA's setup tool for Jetson development. It handles flashing Jetson Linux and JetPack onto Jetson developer kits and installing useful development tools on the host machine. It works with all Jetson developer kits, but here we'll use it with the Jetson Orin Nano. First, we'll install SDK Manager on an x86 Ubuntu host, then use it to flash the developer kit. You will need a x86 desktop or laptop to run SDK Manager. We call this machine the host. We call the Jetson development kit that you are setting up the target. You will connect the two with a USB cable. Each Jetson has one USB port designated as the flashing port. The host must have at least 8 GB of RAM and 27 GB of free drive space. The Jetson must have at least 16 GB of drive space, but in practice, most Jetson models work better with at least 64 GB. Before we continue, know that flashing the Jetson will erase any existing data on the installation drive. Make sure to make backups. While this video provides a good overview of the process, it is not an exhaustive survey of all options. This generally takes at least an hour to use the first time. That should give you plenty of time to take a look at the documentation. Links and instructions are in the description below. The Jetson hardware, JetPack version, and host OS version are all related. Because Jetson has a long product history, supported Ubuntu hosts range from 18.04 through 24.04, depending on the JetPack release. The current SDK Manager runs on different flavors of Linux and Windows, as well as in Docker containers. But for best results, a native Ubuntu installation is best. Make sure to check out the host compatibility matrix when you are flashing different versions of JetPack to determine what combination to use. In this video, we are using Ubuntu 22.04 to flash JetPack 7. Let's scroll down to download and install. We'll pick download for ubuntu.deb x8664. I'll open up the download folder and then open a terminal on that directory. Next, apt install the SDK Manager package we just downloaded. Let's start up the SDK Manager. We'll need to log into our NVIDIA developer account. If you don't have one, they are free to create. Let me sign into mine. Here you can elect to send data to help NVIDIA make the process better. The first step is to configure the host and target environments. The target hardware section allows you to select which Jetson you are going to flash. If there is a Jetson in recovery mode attached to the host, it will automatically be selected. Clicking the kebab menu allows you to choose other models. If the host machine is selected, the tools for remote Jetson development will be installed on the host. For this demo, we will not install them. In the SDK version section, choose which version of JetPack should be installed. Clicking the kebab menu will show earlier versions of JetPack suitable for the Jetson. This is the route to take if you want to downgrade your Jetson to an earlier version of JetPack. Then continue to step 2. The next step is to download the requested components and libraries. One useful option to notice is that you can set the download and SDK build directories. This allows you to download and build from a specific directory or on external storage. I usually keep everything on a separate drive. You must seal your fate by agreeing to the terms and conditions of the licensing agreement. Click Continue, and then the SDK Manager will determine if you are worthy of installing JetPack. Then the packages and libraries download. Download time depends on which options you select and the speed of your connection. Flashing the Jetson is a 3-step process. After downloading the JetPack files, SDK Manager assembles an image to flash from the board support package and root file system. Next, the boot firmware is flashed onto the Jetson. This is usually referred to as QSPI. The firmware version is associated with the JetPack release. This means that different versions of JetPack will not run on the same firmware version. That is why the firmware must be flashed when changing JetPack versions. Once the firmware is written, Jetson Linux is placed on the Jetson. After Jetson Linux is transferred, the Jetson reboots. At this point, it is a fully functioning Ubuntu machine, The SDK Manager will then copy and install the JetPack libraries from the host to the Jetson. Immediately before flashing, you will be asked to set the OEM configuration. This is the initial setup of the Jetson, which sets items like the username and password. The preconfig option sets most of these options to reasonable values without user intervention. The runtime configuration allows the end user to set them during an initial setup session. The storage device determines where the system installs and becomes the boot device. NVMe is a SSD. For this video, we are installing on a SD card. I'll select Preconfig and set the username and password for this install. Make sure to have your storage device installed on your Jetson before you try to flash. Let's put the Jetson into recovery mode and attach it to the host. The last chapter of the video offers some troubleshooting advice. In order to put the Orin Nano into force recovery mode, we jump pins 9 and 10 on the J14 button header. You can use a 2-pin jumper. I'm going to leave out the dad joke that I've never seen one jump. However, I prefer to use a female-to-female DuPont cable to bridge the two. The header has a 2.54mm pitch. Connecting pin 9 to 10 effectively shorts the two and tells the Jetson to go into forced recovery mode when the power is applied. Next, we plug in a USB-C cable into the Jetson. The USB-C cable must be data capable. We plug the other end of the USB cable into our x86 host. Then we're ready to put the power down. When we plug in the power jack, the green light comes on. The AGX Jetsons have buttons to set the machine into force recovery mode. The SDK Manager will guide you through the process. When the Jetson is plugged in, the host will recognize it. Make sure that you select the developer kit from the dialog. Click OK and SDK Manager will attempt the flash again. The host then begins the flashing process. This starts with building an image from the board support package and root file system. Next, the Jetson firmware is flashed, and then the Jetson Linux package is installed. Once everything is installed, the Jetson boots. Once the SDK Manager detects that the Jetson is up and running, it will install the JetPackSDK components to the Jetson. This can be a lengthy process. Once installation is complete, power the Jetson off. If you are using a jumper, remove it. Then we're ready for first boot. Because we used preconfig for setup, we go directly to the login screen. After typing the password, we are taken to the desktop. I'll open up a terminal so we can take a look around. This says that we are using Jetson Linux 39.2. Even though we installed the Jetpack SDK, it looks like the Jetpack meta package was not installed with apt. We should probably fix that. On a clean install, it's worth it to take some extra time to apt update and upgrade the system. This makes sure everything is up to date. Firefox comes pre-installed. However, I prefer Chromium. I usually install that early on. Choosing preconfig during setup, set the hostname to localhost. Here's how to go about changing it. Note that hostname CTL lists all the vitals about the system, including the firmware version. Use the setHostName command to set the host name. You will need to reboot the system for changes to take effect. For the development environment, I use VS Code. To install, wander over to the VS Code download page and get the ARM64 deb file. Open up the download folder, then open a terminal on that folder. Use dpackage to install the .deb file. For completeness, we'll install the NVIDIA JetPack meta package. This shouldn't have much effect, but it will maintain consistency between this and other installation methods. Here are a couple of tips if you run into trouble. One issue you may encounter is that the host machine suspends the USB ports after a period of inactivity. Many laptops do this to save power. You can work around this by turning USB auto-suspend off at runtime. Here's the command to execute. I'll leave it in the description below. Unplug your Jetson, turn off USB auto-suspend, and then plug the Jetson back in. You should then be able to continue flashing. Rebooting the host machine will return the setting to its previous value. If you're looking for a specific JetPack version but can't find it, try the Show All Versions flag. This should resolve anything that's missing.